Don't forget to smash that like button and leave a comment, guys. It means the absolute world to me. I appreciate you. What it do, YouTube? It's your boy Choc, and you guys already know what time it is, man. I'm coming at you with another banger NBA 2K22 video. You guys already know the vibes. Now look, in today's video, man, probably the most requested video. I've been seeing this in the comment section like crazy. Everybody's been saying, Choc, you're dropping these fire build videos, but you're not telling us what badges to use. And that's on me. That's my bad, fellas. That's my bad. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over the finishing, shooting, playmaking, and defense badges that you need to be running on your My Player in NBA 2K22. I'm going to make sure that you guys have the best badge spread possible, no matter what build you're on. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you're doing me a huge favor and hit that sub button. Also, guys, drop a like. It helps me out a ton. It takes 2 seconds, and it means the world to me. And make sure that you guys leave a comment. The only reason I even knew to do this video was because it was so requested in the comment section. I engage with every single comment. If you don't believe me, drop a comment and I will respond to you. I appreciate you guys for watching. And without further ado, let's get right into this action, man. So the beautiful thing about 2K this year is they made all of the badges between generations of the game related. So you have the same badges on current gen as next gen. So I can talk about these badges on next gen and they're going to apply to you guys on current gen. So shout out to 2K for that, because that is very clutch in these explanation type videos. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do, obviously you guys have to understand every build is different. Everyone's play style is different. So you guys need to go ahead and pick badges that fit your play style. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the most important badges out of these categories. Now, obviously there's some badges that don't really matter, and we're going to go ahead and talk about that. All right. So look, the most important badges, in my opinion, this is my current spread, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about some other badges that are important as well. Limitless takeoff. The reason you run limitless takeoff is it allows you to jump from further. Okay, so you definitely want to be running limitless takeoff on your player. Posterizer. Needless to say, posterizer is obviously one of the most important badges, if not the most important finishing badge. If you don't get contact dunks, please don't put posterizer on. It's very pointless at that point. Like, it's something that you wouldn't waste. Slithery. Now, I've gone back and forth on Slithery. Sometimes I think Slithery is useful, sometimes I don't. It really depends on the day. A lot of people believe that Slithery finisher is what leads you to get more contact dunks because you're slipping through the contact and you're throwing it down. I can't prove that. It's one of those things, kind of like how I talked about with the 2K algorithm. It's something that you can't prove, but it's something that you see. So sometimes I run Slithery, sometimes I don't. And then I run unstrippable, okay? So that's how I do my spread, and then bronze, mouse, and house. This is my spread. This is exactly how I run it. This works very well for me. Now, if I don't run Slithery finisher, what I do is I run Hall of Fame unstrippable and then mouse and house silver. Okay, so that would be my alternating spreads for my personal build. Now, if you're a center, fast twitch is a really good badge. The reason why is it allows you to go up for dunks and layups a lot quicker. So that's something that you want to have. Like, if you get a rebound, obviously I can't put it on because I don't have close shot or standing dunk since this is a guard build. But what you would do is you get the rebound and you can go up a lot quicker than your opponent can jump, especially since a lot of people don't run pogo stick. A lot of like guys you're going to play versus don't run that. Other than that, you can run Lob City Finisher. You don't need it to catch lobs, obviously, but it does help. It makes it a lot easier for you to dunk in traffic. And that's really it. I wouldn't run Pro Touch. I wouldn't really run Fearless Finisher. And again, this is where it gets a little bit confusing, because Fearless Finisher, you would think, is going to be the badge that helps you make contact dunks and get posterizers, but it's really just for contact layups. So people don't run it because they believe it gives off more layups. I wouldn't run Putback Boss, Pro Touch, Teardropper. Stuff like that is really pointless. The badges that I highlighted are the main important badges, and you can make a case to run Acrobat, but again, it's not really worth it. The benefits that you get are not worth it. These are the most important badges: Takeoff, Posterizer, Slithery Finisher, Unstrippable, and Mouse in the House. Now, let's go ahead and talk shooting badges, which are probably the most controversial badge subject because everybody feels differently about these badges. Every time I talk shooting badges on a video, people are like, oh, well, why do you not run this badge? Or this badge isn't really that important, or I don't use this badge, I use this badge. So this is something where it's usually a great conversation starter. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with the easiest conversation starter of all time, Sniper. Now, I did a video on shooting badges already, and people are like, I make all my whites without Sniper. If you're making all your whites without Sniper, put Sniper on and watch how much more you make. I'm telling you guys right now, at this current point in 2K, Sniper is the best shooting badge. It's gonna make you hit all your whites. I'm telling you guys, I don't know why they did it like this. but it's the best badge to have. If you're not running sniper, you're doing yourself a disservice, regardless of how good of a shooter you believe you are. From here, blinders. Now, I don't run blinders on builds that are not ball handlers. So like on my popping center build, I don't personally run blinders. I don't think it's useful. Some people will think it is because they're like, oh, it's going to shade you. But I don't really think it's useful if you're on a popper. I think it's only really good if you're using a guard. So I only use it on my guard, and that's something that people probably wouldn't agree with in themselves. Again, the thing about badges when it comes to shooting, it's not kind of like finishing, where finishing is like, oh, this is the badge to have and this is the badge to have. Shooting is more of like a preference thing. It's like, hey, I prefer to play this way, or I prefer to give up on this so I can have more of that. From here, I run Deadeye. You make a lot of contested shots in this game, so I run Deadeye. I like running Green Machine. Lucky number 7 is my favorite badge this year. Just because of how I play, my play style. I play the game very fast-paced. I don't slow the game down a lot. I run a lot of fast breaks. If you take a shot within the first 7 seconds, lucky number 7 pops up every single time, and it's really like crack, okay? It's like a crack badge. It allows you to do a lot of things that your build probably should not be able to do. From here, I don't personally run volume shooter. The reason I don't run volume shooter, I had somebody ask me about this in the comment section. You have to take a certain amount of shots. I don't know what the threshold is this year, but you have to take like a decent amount of shots for it to work. So volume shooter is something that you could use in Pro-Am, but in Park, by the time it kicks in, the game is almost over. So it's not worth having unless you're really just out there missing a ton of shots. Rhythm shooter. I am a fan of rhythm shooter because if you size your opponent up, if you do a decent amount of dribble moves, very, very good badge. Stop and pop. I don't run this badge, but I've done a little bit of research because I had some conversations with people in the comment section. Stop and pop is not a bad badge. It pops up a lot. Every time you take a shot with stop and pop on, it's going to pop up. So it is something that I would personally look into if you guys are ball handlers. If you're not a ball handler, do not run this badge because it makes no sense. Now, limitless spot up in Chef, I run. People have this thing where they're like, oh, Chef doesn't work and limitless spot up doesn't work. Mike Wang is Beluga, so I'm an idiot. Mike Wang has said that they're trying to find a way to rework the Chef badge and the Limitless Spot Up badge to where it makes sense. So I'm currently running both because nobody has ever really made it official on which one works. So I've been running them both. I know a lot of people say that the Limitless Spot Up is the one that works, but that doesn't really pop up for me. So neither of them pop up that much, so I don't really know which one's gonna work, but I'm keeping them on knowing that a patch will come soon enough and they will be the badges to have on. And then for my last badge, again, probably either a stop and pop or a hot zone hunter. And it really comes down to preference. I'd probably go silver hot zone and bronze stop and pop. Now here's the deal. If you're a spot up player, catch and shoot or corner specialists are very good for you. Obviously do not run corner specialists if you're a ball handler. It makes no sense. Some badges that you should not be running. Set shooter. You have to catch the ball and pause for 2 seconds for this badge to work. It is the dumbest badge in the game. It doesn't make any sense why they made it like this. I don't really know. Kind of pointless. Not sure what they were thinking when they created it. Difficult shots. Pretty pointless, as you guys can see. Difficult shots only works in the mid-range. So it doesn't make sense to have difficult shots on. Middies are so easy to green anyways that you don't need a badge that's going to boost your mid-range percentage. You can realistically green with a 47 mid-range. My personal build, I have not upgraded mid-range yet. It's a 47, and I green it every single time. So you don't need a badge that's going to help you with mid-ranges. Clutch shooter is a good badge to have, but it only works in the final moments of fourth quarter. So I personally would not run it unless you just know you're the guy that's taking the last shot every time. And even then, it's probably not worth giving up the badge points. But other than that, those are the badges that you should be running. Don't really run fade ace unless you're just sitting back and being a nerdy post scorer. Just make sure you're running the badges that fit your play style. And I think I did a pretty good job of describing which badges are useful to have and which aren't. Now we're into the playmaking. Unlike shooting, playmaking is a lot more straightforward. It's not really opinion based. You need to run certain badges and you don't need to run others. So look, ankle breaker. Does ankle breaker work a ton? Not really, but it's good to have on for the rare opportunities that it does work because you're guaranteed an open shot if it is to pop up. If you do a little snatchback move and ankle breaker pops up and your guy does a little stumble animation, it's a wide open shot every single time. So it is worth it to have on. Bullet passer. Always run it as high as you can. Obviously, it's probably the most important playmaking badge. If you don't have bullet passer, you're going to get the ball stolen from you guys every single time. And bullet passer kind of intertwines with unpluckable because if you guys have played NBA 2K22 at all, you know how crazy the passing lanes are and you know how crazy stealing the ball is, okay? Even with Hall of Fame unpluckable, you still get ripped a lot. So you need to have both of those badges as high as you can, because otherwise you're going to be grading out of a lot of your games. Take my word for it. I'm telling you guys, do not play without having those 2 badges on. Now from here, very important badge, quick chain. Quick chain is your ability to string dribble moves together fast. You want to have that up as high as you can. Do not have hyperdrive on. Do not have triple threat juke on. I don't understand why people use badges like this. It is a pointless badge. Please don't run it. Always run bailout on bronze, okay? You don't need to run on Hall of Fame. You don't need to run on silver. Bronze works perfectly fine. Quick first step, you need to run that as high as you can. Glue hands. Now, a lot of people thought glue hands is going to be a stupid badge, but it is worth it to have on bronze if you're somebody that leaks out a lot. Because when people throw the break starter pass to you, you're going to catch it a lot more clean, which is going to lead to easier threes and easier baskets. So I would have that on. I wouldn't run dimer this year because shooting is already pretty simple. At least at this current point, it's not worth running. Needle threader, I have not gotten to test needle threader yet, but it's probably a good badge because the passing lanes are pretty cracked. So I would look into using that. Stop and go, great badge. Something that I would advise people to run if you have the badge points for it, because it allows you to stop your dribble and go. Literally what the badge name says. They reworked stop and go, and it actually works pretty well this year. Tight handles. Now, tight handles works a lot. Tight handles pops up way more than ankle breaker in my opinion, and it's pretty easy to stun people in this game. So I would run that as high as you can, and then I don't have enough for the gold handles for days, but I would run handles for days as high as you possibly can as well. Those are like the important badges for me. Another pretty solid badge is Space Creator. If you're somebody that does those hot back shots, you'll get an ankle breaker off of it every single time, but I don't think it's worth it to have on. But just do not have certain badges on, like Hyperdrive. Special Delivery you can run if you're a center, but it's going to force you to make stupid decisions trying to play for takeover. I wouldn't recommend it. For general, if you're like a center and you have playmaking that isn't going to anything, you'll help your team out with that, of course, so that's good. Downhill is useless. Break starter is okay if you're a center, but you don't need it. And yeah, that's really it. Post playmaker, actually. If you're a center, post playmaker is a phenomenal badge. It's basically dimer for glass cleaners. So if you get the board and you kick it out, it's pretty much a green every single time. So if you're a center, 100% put that badge on if you can. And that's really the playmaking badges, guys. These are a lot more straightforward. Like I said, finishing and playmaking are very straightforward. Shooting and defense kind of come down to your opinion. So let's go ahead and transition into defense. And last, but certainly not least, is the defense and rebounding badges. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on to the best defensive badges in the game. Now, let's just go ahead and start off with a banger, okay? Max your pickpocket, max your ball stripper. The steals in this game are crazy, and I don't mind it. I know a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of people on social media have been complaining that steals are too easy to get. I kind of like it. And I know I'm probably in the minority on that, but I like the fact that you can't just dribble in front of somebody's face or stand there dribbling the ball like this and not get ripped. It kind of rewards people for making realistic dribble moves and keeping the ball protected. I like it. I think it's a very good addition. Now, it is a little OD. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It definitely needs to be a little reworked, but they're moving in the right direction of trying to make this game as realistic as possible. From here, clamps, max that sucker out. It's always good to have max clamps, of course, because it's going to help you stay in front of people. So I don't run max clamps because I don't have enough badge points for it. What I do run is max interceptor. As I said in the playmaking, the steals and the passing lanes go crazy. Having a max interceptor is going to allow your player to get so much more steals and be so much more impactful. You can cover so much more space in the game because you can, so for example, I'll be in the corner, right? And instead of hugging my man because I don't have any interceptor and I can't get dotted, I'll stand closer to the paint and be able to play the drive and the pass because I have a longer wingspan and I have a high interceptor. So that's something that you guys want to factor in. If you can get your steal up and get that interceptor, you absolutely should. Now, for primary ball defenders, pick dodger, of course. Needless to say, that one explains itself. If you're getting hit with a ton of screens, you're going to want to have pick dodger on so you can dodge the screens. Do not run hustler. Okay, another one of those badges that are just useless. You do not need a badge that's going to help you dive for loose balls or beat people to loose balls. It's just pointless. Okay, if you don't have anything to put on, I guess, but even then I wouldn't. Tireless defender works a lot this year. It pops up a lot. It saves a lot of your stamina, so it's something that you should look into. Off-ball pest, I've never really found it useful. Some people do. I just think it's a really dumb badge. So personally, I would not run it. I've never had somebody tell me that it's good and I believe them. And there's definitely times where I'll say a badge isn't good. Somebody will explain it to me and I'm like, oh, you know what? That makes sense. I can understand that. Nobody in the comment section is going to convince me that I should run off-ball pass. And I'm just going to be completely honest with you. And I will say, yes, you don't get your ankles broken as often as you see in the description, but you don't really get your ankles broken in this game. So it's not really useful to have it. I don't really understand what the difference is between these badges. It makes literally zero sense to me. Off-ball pass should have zero to do with getting your ankles broken. Like, how do you get your ankles broken off-ball? Isn't that what ankle braces is for? Which again, another useless badge. Ankle braces works this year a little bit, but again, you don't really get ankle breakers crazy this year. So until they buff ankle breakers, which they're not going to because it's not really a necessity to the game, I wouldn't run either of those badges. Now again, if you're somebody out here who's getting your ankles broken for whatever reason, I don't know what's wrong with your my player, you might want to look into it, but if you are, throw those two badges on. And then D leader, not really useful to me unless you just have a lot of patch points laying around. Menace. I kind of like Menace because it drops attributes. So if you're a lockdown defender, you definitely want to have that on. And another badge that's not up here because I don't have it on this player, Rim Protector and Chase Down. Those are two really good badges that you want to have on. Chase down blocks are huge in this game. You get a ton of chase downs, and then Rim Protector is your overall ability to block shots. So those are the best defensive badges. And again, it really boils down to your playstyle. As I said with the other badges, you want to put the badges that fit your playstyle, okay? I can tell you to run these badges, but if you don't play the role that I'm playing, it doesn't really work for you. And that's why I don't say to copy my spread, and I just kind of went and broke down every single badge because I want you guys to be able to think for yourself and come up with a badge spread that's going to fit your game. And that, my friends, is the end of today's video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you guys learned something new. And if you enjoyed this video at all, do me a huge favor and smash that like button. And if you're new, sub to the channel, guys. I respond to every single comment. Let me know in the comment section what videos you guys want to see in the future. I've been uploading every single day, so make sure you turn on the post notifications so you don't miss out on any videos that are going to make you a better NBA 2K player. I appreciate you guys for watching, and as always, it's your boy Choc, and I'm out. Peace.